The landscape before us is a beautiful one. Trees that have taken hundreds of years to reach maturity soar towards the sky, their giant trunks crisscrossed with lianas, and their buttress roots almost totally hidden by a dense carpet of ferns. Monkeys and parrots are chattering incessantly in the canopy. Away from the green twilight, vast plains stretch as far as the eye can see, populated by herds of all kinds of animal, from antelope to elephants to giraffe. And at a nearby riverbank, rhinos, hyenas, and big cats are drinking their fill from the fast-flowing water that rushes towards a distant waterfall, while birds of all descriptions fly overhead. Surely this must be a glimpse of paradise, and the background music complements it perfectly. Unfortunately, the oft-watched commemorative video is coming to an end, and the latest group of museum visitors have begun exchanging somber glances, commenting guiltily on what their kind has destroyed so carelessly in the last few decades. Their generation has been the first to grow up knowing the world of nature only from such videos and other preserved records. Their grief for paradise lost is obvious, but the sterile world they now inhabit will never regain its innocence, and the effects of the total destruction of the fragile ecosystem has become a topic of daily concern as the supply of food, water, and fresh air rapidly dwindles. Despite the combined efforts of the planet's best brains, no one has yet come up with a solution, and humankind is increasingly facing a bleak and uncertain future. Sorry to interrupt you, viewers, but we suggest that you leave the show there. You can watch it to the very end if you wish, but as you know, the eventual outcome was pretty awful, so it's probably best not to sit through the remainder of this final episode. Why don't we just leave it where it belongs, in the past? Of course, creating Homo sapiens in our own image and giving the species dominion over all the other creatures seemed like such a good idea at the time. And it did actually go quite well for the first 5 million years or so. But unfortunately, their creativity and knowledge eventually began to outpace their moral values and common sense. You might recall that at one stage they even discovered ways of destroying each other and their cities that for a while seemed destined to obliterate their entire world. In the end, though, it was carelessness with their stewardship of the myriad other species with whom they shared their planet that proved to be their downfall. They completely overlooked how dependent they were on the ecosystem of which they were merely a component part. And as they allowed species after species to vanish, they eventually reached a point of no return, finally sealing their own fate. Sadly, this meta-memorial movie is now all that's left of our failed experiment. Anyway, turning our attention to the next exhibit,